What we're going to look at in this video is the Petrosys PRO working with Petrel, and we're going to concentrate on the surface modeling, the creation of grids, and the use of the surface modeling module, and also some of the editing and regridding capabilities that gives you inside of Petrel. So we'll start off with Petrosys PRO, and we'll open up the surface modeling. So what the surface modeling gives you is the ability to take data from Petrel and grid it up and use some of the powerful parts of Petrosys to give you better looking structures and surfaces, particularly around faulted data. So what we're going to do is open up a workflow, a task file that we've created before. So this means you can reproduce and redo your work by rerunning these task files. In this particular one, we're going to look at the gridding, but it also has some depth conversion, some grid arithmetic, some well ties, and some volumetrics. So you can do simple volumetrics on surfaces and structures inside of your Petrel dataset without having to go through to a full framework model. So what we're going to do is look at the gridding to start with. So here we have the gridding module of Petrosys, and we're going to grab some data from inside of our Petrel project and use Petrosys' gridding contouring to generate a nice surface, particularly around the faults. So we've got some interpreted data here, which we can grab, and using our drag and drop, we can drag it into our Petrosys window. And we've also got some fault data. So in this particular case, we're going to use some fault sticks. So we're going to grab the fault sticks across into Petrosys, and we're going to create a polygon from those fault sticks coming from Petrel, which we can then use in our gridding and contouring, and also we can use in our display. And if you need to, we can actually edit this fault, and we'll show you in the editor later on how we can edit data using the Petrosys editor. So here we've got our data, and then we can run. So in this case, we're just going to run that one task, so the creation of the grid. We don't have to run the whole thing. It's going to go away and run and create a surface. So that's generated our grid from our Petrel data using Petrosys gridding. So what we'll show you is just go back into the mapping to show you how what that looks like inside of Petrosys. So it creates a really nice surface, a really nice structural map of our time in this case, particularly where you've got faulted data sets. So we're going to open up a map inside Petrosys. Now that map shows us the grid that we've created from our Petrel dataset and the fault that was created from our fault sticks, and shows you what a nice structural surface we can create. So what I'm going to do now is show you some of the editing capabilities. I'm just going to zoom in a bit on this dataset. And what I'm going to do is show you how we can edit and change some of this data around. So in the first case, what I'm going to do is show you some of the ability, let me just move this up, some of the ability to do overpost correction. So anywhere we have text, like in this seismic data or for this well data, I can, these tops which are posted, I can actually move the posted value around interactively. So in this particular case, we'll make that a different angle, and we'll make it smaller, and we can also have arrows if we need to. We'll say OK, and you can see we now have made our top in a more appropriate position. And we can do the same for contour values. So for example, if we select on contours and do overpost correction, we can actually remove the label, or if you wanted extra labels to be added in, so for example here we wanted an extra label, we can add labels in, or we could add labels along a whole series of contours if we wanted, and we can then move them along the line. So the idea being that you can use the powerful part of Petrosys editing capabilities to make the data that's coming from your Petrel project look more professional and more beneficial to your viewer than you would do if you had the map made in Petrel. Apart from moving text and other things, we can use the editing capabilities of Petrosys to change the way that our contours and our surfaces that are made from the contours look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this contour and edit it. Now what I can do over here is go to the contour editor and then I can change the surface of the terrain as I wish to. So if I want to change this contour, I can select a contour, and I can do a variety of different things. I can smooth, I can bend. So if I wanted to bend a contour, I could take a contour and move the shape of it. Or if I wanted to take a contour and I wanted to erase part of it, or if I wanted to join that back up, I'll take the contour and once I've made changes to my contours, I can then use the gridding part of Petrosys, which is connected back up to my Petrel project, so I can do localized regridding. So unlike in Petrel where you'd have to regrid that whole surface and you'd lose some of your resolution, I'm going to just do localized regridding. So I'll take localized regridding, and what happens here is I can choose the distance away from the edited data that I want that will actually then take my grid and regrid it. So I'll say maybe 200 meters away from that, I'll say OK, and that then goes away and it regrids that surface, but only changes the data in that 200 meters away from the points that I've chosen. So I can actually take my data, grid it up using my powerful Petrosys gridding tools. I can then make some edits to it, and I can then save that and store that back into my Petrel project. So I'll save that. And the resultant grid that I've created represents the contour edits that I've made. So this shows you how to use the powerful Petrosys PRO gridding and contouring and the editing capabilities in combination with your data from Petrel.